out of those tough situations if you do get in them. Wow! Going for a nasty Nelson. I wanted to say I saw that coming, but I did not see that. Hayden shaking his head, smiling, laughing it off. Wow.
Whew, what a week. Major League Pickleball Salt Lake City just wrapped. This was the third regular season event of the season. There were 30 Premier League matches. There were nasty Nelsons. There were body bags. John's Bros woes continue. Utah finally got a win. Can Parris Todd carry a team of substitutes to a win? That's just some of what we're going to get to. We've got updated standings. We've got some MVP and player honors to hand out. In fact, Basil's going to give out an award. He's going to give his award to whoever has that dog in them. You know me, we'll have some fun with charts. I pulled in duper data. And then we'll be taking a look at all of the hottest takes that Pickleball Twitter has to offer. We're going to look at all the results day by day. And before we do that, if you're able to, please consider liking and subscribing this video. Maybe even send it to a friend. We'll start off with Dallas versus New Jersey. Now, this is a rematch of a matchup that we saw in the Advil Targeted Relief Major League Pickleball mid-season tournament. New Jersey was able to get the win in regulation then. We'll see how it goes this time as Tyra Black goes flying into the video board on the side there. These courts were a little tight all week. There were some players complaining about that. Dallas with the 4-point lead here late, trying to get the win in regulation, and there comes Augie Guh crashing in. We've got a match point. New Jersey able to keep it alive for now. Annalie Waters and Will Howes fired up. Second match point for Dallas. See if they can close it here. We get a big drive from Augie Guh right at Annalie Waters, and she puts it into the net. Now take a look at Dallas' reaction here. This is just a good example of what good team vibes and energy is in MLP. Remember that. That's going to be a theme this week. We're going to be talking a lot about vibes. Next, we'll check in with Arizona. Now, they got a win earlier in the day against the LA Mad Drops, but here they are with Andre Deescu finally back in the lineup after his 60-day suspension. They've now got a match point. Dylan Frazier and Caitlin Christian looking to close it out, and that's going to go just wide from Tyson McGuffin. On to LA versus Dallas, and LA was a team that kind of felt like they really needed to get some wins. They only played 3 regular season events coming into this event. Thomas Wilson is out with Blaine Hovenier subbing in. And here they are getting it done against J-Dub and Augie. Blaine keeping those dinks tight. Hunter on the counter. There they go. LA up to a 2-0 lead. In the next game, we had Blaine Hovenier with Catherine Parento late with the lead, trying to close it out. They have a match point. One important thing to keep in mind is last tournament at the ATR MLP MST, we had close call replay. And this tournament, we did not. And LA would go on to get a sweep, a 4-0 victory over the Dallas Flash. Here's a quick look at all the action from Thursday. You'll also notice that the Columbus Sliders, after making their trade, getting Jay DeVilliers in exchange for Connor Garnett and getting Andrea Koop in exchange for Brooke Buckner, they unfortunately did not turn their fate around just yet. They went 0-2 on the day, did get 1 point for losing the Dreambreaker. On to Friday, we'll start with the Texas versus New Jersey Dreambreaker. Here we've got Quang Duong versus Will Howes. Will Howes is going to get up there and put that one away. Now here's the problem lineup here. Annalie Waters versus Etta Wright. That's going to be a tough matchup for Etta. Annalie Waters, just too good. The ground strokes, the movement, everything. But on the second lineup, after getting 3-1 the first time they played, missed return from Annalie Waters. Here, Etta Wright going to get a little drop shot. The kid can't get to it. Here, a lob. Annalie Waters, oh my goodness. Etta got the 3-1 back. Christian Alshon took the court, tied 18-18 with Zane Navratil. If he did not close it out, that means Etta versus Annalie round 3 was going to happen. And unfortunately, that's where the end of the line happened for Texas. Annalie Waters, too good. New Jersey gets it done, stays undefeated in Dreambreakers. Up next, we'll talk about LA versus Carolina. We've got an extended dink rally on a game point for the Carolina Pickleball Club. This match is tied at 1-1. And yeah, we're still dinking. Catherine Parento, though, going to set it up nicely here. She's going to dink outside against Colin Johns. Blaine sees the opportunity. Gets the Ernie, but the ref says foot fault.
And they're going to have to challenge this.
Review, the referee's foot fault call stands.
Trailing 2-1, it was up to Jade and Hunter to try and force a Dreambreaker. They got off to a hot start, a 5-0 lead against Ben and Jesse. Found that spot right in the middle. Just kept working that. Able to ride that lead all the way to the end, and here we have a game point for the LA Mad Drops. And this might be another game where if we have close call replay, the outcome could be different. Tell me what you think here.
And a miss wide.
The out call stands.
On to the Dreambreaker, Blaine Hovenier, clutch point up against Colin Johns, and another foot fault for the big fella.
Goodness.
Third foot fault call on Blaine of this matchup.
Still, he was able to force the side out and have a match point of his own. He rips the forehand winner. LA Mad Drops get the Dreambreaker dub over Carolina. Moving on to Texas versus St. Louis. Now, this is the third meeting of these teams. They've split the matches, but Ed and Tina had yet to beat Kate and Anna. That would change here. It's just nothing was really going the way for the Shock. The Dink's going to ride the net. The Shock on offense. Texas backed up to the baseline. And on game point, Kate Fahey, little high in the middle. Ed is going to eat that up. Tied 1-1, heading into mixed. Alshon and Wright were able to win against Gabe and Kate, and then surprisingly, Kwong and Tina, who have been very good for a second mixed lineup, able to get the win against Hayden and Anna Bright. So here are the rest of the results for Friday, and oh my god, holy shit. Utah actually won a match. That's right. They got a 3-1 victory over the Arizona Drive, who, after getting their season back on track, going 2-0 on Thursday, they went 0-2 on Friday. Orlando and Carolina also 0-2 on the day, and once we get to the standings here, you'll see we're starting to see some separation here. On to Saturday, the first match of the day was a good one. We have the two best women's doubles teams squaring off. The New Jersey Fives, Annalie Waters and Mari Humberg, off to a big lead here against St. Louis Shock's Anna Bright, Kate Fahey. But we're going to see a win on serve assisted comeback. In fact, I'm going to go and spoil this result. New Jersey is going to end up losing this game, even though they won more rallies than the Shock. It's rare, it doesn't happen all the time, but it is a possibility. And look, I'll be honest, I've been, in the past, very staunchly against win on serve for exactly this reason, but, I mean, you got to admit, this is a lot more fun. I mean, you know, I don't know. I keep going back and forth, but anyway, St. Louis able to finally close it out here with an extended firefight. The ball goes wide, and for the first time, Annalie Waters and Mari Humberg have lost a game. And when Annalie Waters loses, that means Zane Navratil has to find a win somewhere, and well, he didn't find the win here, but he did find the nasty Nelson, as we saw earlier, and actually on the very next rally, too. Maybe Hayden, a little riled up after that. He's actually going to get an orange card from the ref here. What that means is they were deducted a point.
Hayden Patrick with a little bit of a colorful language there.
However, Zane was unable to find a win, and St. Louis did take that in regulation. Now we're on to a Dreambreaker with LA against Columbus, and I mean, just look at the score here. This one gets out of hand. This is just brutal. A team like Columbus, they make the trades. They're trying to get their season back on track. They get to the Dreambreaker, and then this happens. I mean, that can't be fun. That just doesn't sound like fun at all. But it is kind of fun for us because it's just, I don't know, kind of there's some novelty to it. Here we are at 20-4, and there's a forehand winner for Blaine. That'll do it. Saturday night. We have got some primetime John's Bros Pickleball, and we've got Will Howes with the Ernie and the body bag on Colin. Now, I feel like a lot of people have been saying maybe Will Howes doesn't belong in Premier, but he looked pretty dang good this match. Finding the ATP there, a second Ernie, and take a look here. He's actually going to go for a third Ernie. Let's see how that goes for him.
That's one way to defend the Ernie.
Those
Just
hands.
tag him.
Will Howes just all over every ball there. Going for another Ernie.
Savvy move there from Colin Johns. However, down 24-16. They're going to have to find something here if they want to come back. But rally scoring, win on serve. We've seen it happen before earlier in this video. Let's see what they can do. Just take a look at the hands here. This is a ridiculous point.
Hand speed.
The hand speed. Ben, I mean, they should not have won that.
But still, that 24-16 lead proved to be enough on the fifth game point for Zane and Will, able to get it done.
My, what a get from Zane Navratil at the baseline. Ooh, that one is a tough loss for Carolina.
New Jersey would go on to win in regulation. We did not get the Ben versus Annalie mixed doubles match that we so desperately wanted, though. That was annoying. Anyway, Dallas and Texas, look at them, 6 points each. We've got Utah and Arizona struggling. Arizona 0-4 in Friday and Saturday. Columbus, despite that one Dreambreaker we dropped in on, did get a win against Arizona. All right, we've got one more day to go through. It is Sunday, and Millie Rain filling in all week for Vivian David, and she looked pretty good. She just kept crashing the middle, and this is a very good Texas Ranchers women's doubles team that Parris and Millie are just going to absolutely demolish. Probably the most surprising single game result to me this whole week. Now, there was some added drama too. Both of the men for Orlando were sick, unable to go today, so they got Spencer Smith and Roscoe Bellamy to fill in, but that did not stop Parris and Millie from getting that win. Unfortunately, they did still lose in regulation. We'll hear more from them later. And that wasn't the only surprising women's doubles result here. We've got Kate Fahey and Anna Bright against the Columbus Sliders women. Megan Dizon and Andrea Coop able to get the win, and that was significant because we ended up in a dream breaker, and we had Coop versus Hayden Patrick win. Now, I guess the logic here is that since the last dream breaker went so bad, let's just throw Coop to the wolves here and hopefully make it up elsewhere. And she kind of did her part. I mean, she did very well against Hayden. Unfortunately, the rest of the team couldn't quite make up the ground. Here we get the other men versus women matchup, Riley versus Anna Bright. So with the first round done, split at 8-8, let's see if Coop has anything else in store, and that's a clean winner on Big H. Still tight, another Anna Bright versus Riley Newman rally. I just love when it's man versus woman. It's always just a little extra intrigue. And another winner for Anna Bright. Again, Coop trying to keep the sliders in it. This one was on the brink the whole way. She's going to get the error here, but it just wouldn't be enough. Gabe Tardio able to find the winner against Jay DeVilliers.
He gets it right inside the sideline.
All right, moving on, we have Texas versus Carolina, and remember how vibes were going to be important? Well, just go ahead and check this out. This is going to be probably the biggest beatdown that I have ever seen the Johns Bros experience, the biggest beatdown that I've ever seen, maybe in MLP. It was 13-10 just a second ago, and that score just keeps ticking up for Texas. The body language is not looking good for Ben and Colin. Texas gets the 4-0 sweep with a 100-59 advantage, and Carolina has a lot of tough questions to answer. And now the last match we will talk about, do you believe in miracles? Because Parris Todd and 3 substitutes, that's right, Millie Rain, Roscoe Bellamy, Spencer Smith, filling in for the rest of her team. They could have just showed up, gone through the motions. In fact, there's probably a few teams out there that would have done that. But that was not good enough for Parris Todd. She decided she was going to rally this squad, and after dropping both gender doubles matches, they got a win in the first mixed match. Okay, well, let's see if Millie Rain can keep it going, and she's going to catch the line on Connor Garnett there. Into the Dream Breaker we go. We've got Tyler Loong up against Spencer Smith. Spencer too good with the drop. We've got another winner for Spencer Smith. We've got Parris Todd finding a winner. Big lead early for Orlando, however, it wouldn't hold, and we had a tight one. But Parris Todd, I think she just earned so much respect for getting this team to a win, coming in strong in the Dream Breaker. I mean, what a performance. What a moment.
Spencer Smith closes out the match, and he takes it, the team of alternates.
So that is all the action here. The rest of the results from Sunday. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings just from this event. Then we'll look at the updated standings for the entire season. Texas with 16 points in 6 matches. Now keep in mind, Texas has played in 3 regular season events already, and they've had a different lineup in each of those events. So with this lineup, they have got 3rd place in the midseason tournament, and they've got 2.67 points per match. Texas's performance in this event will go a long way in making sure they get in the playoffs, and maybe even making sure that they get to be the home team, which, by the way, it's pretty important in the playoffs. Take a look at this. If you get to set the mixed lineups and the Dream Breaker lineups, that's tough. Anyway, Dallas also had a very strong week. I do hate them still. They are my rival, but yeah, they did all right. Jersey finally lost a match, but they are still undefeated in the Dream Breakers. St. Louis also looking like they are going to be a playoff team. And LA, Blaine Hovenier came in and he needed to perform well, and he did. And then the rest of the teams really struggled. Utah finally on the board. We'll give them some credit for that. Orlando, it was a great moment. They got 2 points in that last match, but that's a pretty deep hole they're starting to dig. Columbus, Arizona, and the Johns brothers-led Carolina Pickleball Club. These teams did not perform as they would have hoped this week. Let's take a look at the full standings. As we alluded to earlier, we can start to see that there is some separation. Right after that 7th spot with LA Mad Drops, there's a bit of a drop-off in points per match. The DC Pickleball team at 1.67 points per match did not participate in this event, but they're on pace for roughly 38 points. So right now, that's looking like what teams will need to do if they want to make the playoff. It's going to be tough for Carolina, Arizona, Columbus, Orlando, and especially Utah to get back into the mix, but there's still a lot of the season left to play for these teams. It's kind of funny that the teams at the top have played more matches. I wonder if there's anything to be said for that. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too much into it. Here we've got the player results just for the Salt Lake City event, and let's give out some awards. I mean, the MVP, it's probably got to be Annalie Waters. If you take her off that team and just replace her with a league average player, it's tough to argue that they would be where they are. For the MVP for the women and for the men, it's tempting to go with Christian Alshon, Hayden Patriquin, Quang Duong, but we're going to go with Blaine Hovenier. Super sub, he came in, had some big moments in Dream Breakers, got a win over J-Dub and Augie in the Dallas Flash match. If LA ends up in the playoffs, maybe making a run, maybe hands out some championship rings, they better make a fifth one and give one to him. And as I mentioned, Basil the dog is going to give out an award as well. Take a quick look at how the partnerships fared this event. The one that immediately jumped out to me as a little bit of a surprise was in mixed doubles. The new partnership of Jay DeVilliers and Megan Dizon for the Columbus Sliders, they actually performed really well, even though the Sliders struggled. I think this trade will be good for them in the end. They just really need Riley Newman to start playing like a top 5 player like he was in 2022 and 2023. It's been well over a year since he's won a gold medal on the PPA Tour. Is there a conversation to be had here? Let's table that for now, but just something to think about. Quang Duong and Tina Pisnik, 5-1. Christian Alshon and Etta Wright, 5-1. That is a really good sign for Texas, especially since their women continue to succeed despite that one kind of surprising loss. For the St. Louis Shock, we've talked about this before. Gabe Tardio and Kate Fahey continue to struggle. They just cannot seem to put it together. I almost wonder if it's worth changing up the partnerships. You really don't want to break up a team like Hayden and Anna, but if Hayden can carry Kate to a few wins and Anna Bright is solid enough to play next to Gabe Tardio, maybe you can get better than 50% win percentage, which is what they're running at in mixed doubles. Also, if Hayden can win men's doubles with somebody else, maybe somebody in Challenger, I don't know. It's tough to argue St. Louis should make a move because they have such good vibes, they have such a young, fun team. It's just a thought. Maybe I should have saved that one for the hot take section. Get in the comments. Let me know if I'm out of line for that one. On the women's side, Catherine Parento and Jade Kawamoto looking like the team that they were supposed to be coming into the season. They struggled in the one lone event they played before this. Lastly, in men's doubles, you got to point out Ben and Colin, 3-3. That is not the recipe for success for the Carolina Pickleball Club. Also, Andre Dascu and Dylan Frazier, 2-4. This is a team that spent so much draft capital on these two men. They don't figure out how to play well together. That's not good for them. All right, now let's go ahead and add all these results into our season-long standings and see if there's any other insights to be had. Why don't we go and have some fun with charts? As you can see here, just a little radar chart with the win percentage in each of the 4 disciplines: women's doubles, mixed doubles, men's doubles, and dream breakers for each team. While y'all take a look at this, let me go ahead and tell you about the Austin Pickle Ranch here in Austin. 16 indoor courts, air conditioned. We've been getting a lot of rain. It's like the wettest July we've had in 20 years, and now it's going to be 100 degrees for like the next 2 weeks. Indoor pickleball, it's the way to go. And check this out. Business is booming. My dad is extending the hours. You can now play until midnight. The demand for courts in Austin is through the roof, which we have because it's indoors, so there's a roof. I'm going to run through these real quick. I don't have too many insights here, but pause if you want to take a closer look. And follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'll be sharing these charts there. Here we've got head-to-head for all games, and we've got it for men's doubles, women's doubles, and mixed doubles as well. Also, Dream Breakers. Before we add those results from Salt Lake City into our season-wide partnership data, I went ahead and did something. I pulled in duper ratings for all of the players in Premier League, and I was able to kind of reverse engineer the formula that they appear to be using on the broadcast for win projections. Every time they showed one of these while I was watching, I just screenshotted it. Using a modified version of a standard ELO win probability calculation, I was able to find something that worked for every single example, except for one, and I think they might have just entered this in wrong. Anyway, we can use this to determine what is the expected record for a given partnership based on their duper and their opponent's duper, and what record would the average team be expected to have against those opponents. So here we've got the men's doubles records for the entire season. So for example, let's take a look at the Johns brothers. They are 7-6 on the season, and they have a 13.9 duper. That is the highest amongst all men's doubles teams. Their opponents have a 13.3 duper on average. Using the formula that I calculated, which I think is right, we should expect them to have 11 wins. They should be 11-2, which kind of sounds about right for the quality of team we know they are. They only have 7 wins. What my stat here is saying is that over the course of 10 games, they are underperforming their expected win total by 3 games. Now here further to the right, what I'm just calling strength of record. All we're doing here is seeing how would the average team be expected to perform against that schedule. The average duper team amongst men's doubles teams is 13.43, and they would be expected to be 7-6. Which is exactly what Ben and Colin are. Ben and Colin are performing at a replacement level. They are an average team right now. Gabe Tardio and Hayden Patriquin, the average team would be expected to have just under 8 wins against their schedule, and they've managed to go 11-6. Over the course of 10 games, they'll be expected to get 2 more wins than the average team. The best team in this metric is actually Federico Staksrud and Tyson McGuffin. And again, underperforming AJ Kohler and Dylan Frazier, Andre Dascu and Dylan Frazier. Riley Newman is performing worse than league average. Let's take a look at the same thing with the women. Annalie Waters and Mari Humberg are 11-1, and they're actually overperforming their duper expectations. They're outperforming the average team by 4 wins over a 10-game period. This metric thinks that Hurricane Tyra Black and Georgia Johnson's 12-6 record, which is 2.1 wins above replacement, is actually more impressive than Etta Wright and Tina Pisnick's 15-6 record, which is just 1.9 above replacement. Still good, just not as good. And here we've got mixed doubles, where this is maybe even more interesting, because each team has 2 mixed doubles teams. So take a look, Jada Villiers and Megan Dizon. We talked about them. Just the one event under their belt, but they looked really good. Annalie Waters and Will House performing well. Duong Duong and Tina Pisnick, are we sure this is the Rangers' second best mixed doubles team? Connor Garnett and Alex Truong actually found something. This trade seems to have been pretty good for both teams. These teams at the bottom probably just disregard, haven't played many games together. Whereas the trades seem to be good for Jada Villiers and Connor Garnett, maybe not as good for Andrea Coop and Riley Newman, who are just 2-4 together. Here's the total season player stats. Now, the next step will be to incorporate all the duper data into these. I just haven't had time to do that yet. But here we've got game win percentage, points win percentage, and my power rating, which is just those 2 numbers added together. And let's go check in on our favorite chart. Let's see how these player performances stack up to how much they went for in the dynamic bidding system draft auction thing. Still, at the top, Annalie Waters. Expensive but worth it. Anna Bright, Christian Alshon, James Ignatowicz, also in that category. Ben Johns, Andre Dascu, Jack Sock, Riley Newman. Maybe it's more of a function of the team construction around them, but they have not been worth the price right now. A.W. Johnson, very good value. Tina Pisnick, the steal of the draft. Who do you think's the biggest surprise here? What do y'all think of Zane Navratil? To me, I view Zane as like a glue guy. He's not getting a ton of wins, but they routinely throw Mari and Zane out against the other team's strongest mixed doubles line, and he's come up clutch in the Dreambreaker. He brings good vibes. Here we've got the same concept, but this is point win percentage, and more or less people are kind of in the same general area. Tina Pisnick really pops once again, Kwang Duong, Vivian Glosman, Deckel Bar. Now that we've gone through all the results, we've updated all of our favorite charts, let's update our power rankings. This is where we were after the mid-season tournament, and we're going to make some significant changes. First of all, now that Utah has accrued 4 points, they got a win, we're going to drop the F-, and we'll just have them in the E tier. Although they did lose to 3 subs and Parris Todd, so we will keep them on double secret probation. We're going to drop the squeeze down, even though they didn't have their full healthy lineup. They've just dug a bit of a hole. It's going to be tough for them to get out of it. And honestly, Millie Rain and Parris Todd might be a better fit than Vivian David and Parris Todd. Maybe there's a trade to be made, but is there anybody who's really in need of a right side woman that is willing to part with a left side woman? We're going to bump up the LA Mad Drops. Blaine Hovenier, the hero of Salt Lake City, got them points to keep them in the mix, and Thomas Wilson coming in. This team should be pretty good. The Fives, now that they lost the game, I went ahead and dropped them down. Maybe they could have stayed in the S tier, I don't know. I just been really impressed with the Dallas Flash, even though I hate them. So I bumped them back into the S tier where I had them preseason, even though I hated them then too. I really think that these top 5 teams have kind of separated themselves a little bit. The New York Hustlers, they had one good event. We just need to see a little bit more from them. That's kind of where we are. All right, this is a news segment for us. We are going to see what Pickleball Twitter's hottest takes are. Eric Lang, challenger player, recent APP gold medal winner. A security guard / custodian is needed between both benches to keep the peace, prevent physical encounters, and pick up leftover trash. Who tried to fight Eric? Come on. He's too nice for that. Challenger players, pick up your trash. Premier League players, you too. Ooh, Ben from Real Clear Stats. Okay, dude, this isn't even a hot take. This is just like a scientific fact or observation. 36 matches, just 6 Dreambreakers. And then he's got a little sassy, "Don't worry, the Dream Breakers happen half the time crowd will conveniently forget about this." Once again, interesting fact, not a hot take. Eric Tice, writer over at The Dink, check out his work. The next waiver wire period is next Wednesday and Thursday. There will be less than 6 maneuvers made during those waivers. I really don't see any Premier League teams making a waiver move. So that means it's just the challenger teams. Not a lot of them have played a lot of games, so I don't think anybody's going to be too eager to move. Good observation, but I'm not sure this is a hot take either. Chris Galley, uniforms need to be the same color as your logo. I'm not sure if this is a hot take, but it is a W take. Columbus, they've got a red look, they've got a yellow look, they've got a blue look. What about a burger look? Let's get a burger look. Maybe something like this. This week in pickleball, the Orlando loss should prompt Connor Pardo to trade the whole team. It was a pretty bad loss. Like, the easiest way to make fun of Utah was just saying they're a challenger team, and losing to challenger players. We've got a Jim Kloss sighting, the smartest man in pickleball. Half the MLP GMs have no idea what they are doing. If it was the NFL, many of these GMs and coaches would be fired. Now, does Jim actually think this, or does he just want them to get fired so somebody will hire him? You tell me. Now, there's a hot take. Oh, we've got Jim Kloss's cat. This is the smartest cat in pickleball. He does still pee in a box. How smart can you be? But he says Ben is selfish and drafted players he wanted to play with, even though it meant the team was worse. I don't know if selfish is the right word, but I do think there's a little bit of arrogance or hubris in play of just thinking you could not spend the full amount of money and win with Ben and fourth-round picks. That's just not the case anymore in pickleball. We're seeing it on the PPA Tour. We're seeing it on MLP. His results are slipping. Chris Galley, pickleball should only be played indoors. I actually think he was hacked by Rob Nunnery here. Josh, not a hot take, but just wow Parris. Yeah, it was great. Not a hot take, though. We can make it a hot take, though. There are more players in Challenger who could do well in Premier League than we think. I think there needs to be a champion crowned at the end of each MLP event. I've seen this take a lot. I feel like a lot of people kind of agree with this. I personally don't feel the need for it. You know, like, what makes pickleball different to where we need to, like, give someone a trophy every event? Why can't we have a regular season like other sports? It almost feels like it's more of a hot take to not agree with that. Okay, we've got a hot take. Gibbs, ball hogging sucks. Let your teammate hit the ball and stay on your own side. Zane Navratil must have seen this. He did his own tweet. Should every basketball player take the same amount of shots? No, they shouldn't. When I played with Jack Monroe in the backyard, go check out this video, by the way, should we have taken the same amount of shots, or should I have gone and sat in the corner and let him carry me to a 10-0 lead? It's like that movie where you only use 10% of your brain. You unlock the fact that there are no sides in pickleball. That's when you really start cooking. Ryan, need to get back to 12 challenger teams. The challenger team should be like a minor league. Tell one of the owners who spent $5 million on a challenger league team this, then yeah, it's probably a pretty hot take to them. MLP shouldn't have a challenger level. I don't know what it is, but I don't want to watch those matches. There's already so much pickleball with back-to-back MLPs. Did I mention that, by the way? There's another MLP next week. Going right into it, PPA. PPA is doing like 40 tournament stops this year. Then you have 12 APPs on top of that. I just don't have time for Challenger all the time. Rosters should be doubled. That'd be kind of fun. And you know what? I think that is a little bit of a hot take. Good job, Jake. And now we're getting to the good stuff. This weekend should be Ben and Colin John's last MLP event. There are plenty of players who would love the opportunity to play. Okay, now we're getting spicy. Let's hop away from this thread and just go a little bit wider in the pickleball Twitterverse. Shelby Bates, hot take. If you don't enjoy playing Major League Pickleball, then don't play. Matt Pickleball McNasty, having an anchor player that is team-focused is crucial. There are a lot of takes like this. Ryan Harwood, shout out to the Major League Pickleball players, owners, GMs, and coaches that give 110% every single time. You know who you are. Look, it just kind of feels like to me that everybody is just subtweeting Ben and Colin. And let's be real, this entire season so far, the vibes on the Carolina Pickleball Club have not been good. They seem to just have a little bit of a culture issue. Players aren't engaged during Dream Breakers or when their teammates are playing. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people will have a lot of opinions on this part. It's definitely something to keep an eye on. And until something changes, I don't really see Carolina Pickleball Club getting it together. But they are contractually obligated to play. That's all the time we have this week. We didn't get to Challenger. We'll get to that next week. Because guess what? We have another MLP next week in Kansas City. Go check the schedule on the MLP website. I don't even know who's going to be there. But yeah, I'll watch. We'll do another recap next week, I guess, though I gotta say, I need a break, man. Are pickleball fans gonna get burned out on pickleball? Who knows? Anyway, thanks for watching, like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. appreciate you taking the time and watching this. I hope you enjoyed, and I welcome any and all feedback in the comments.